Welcome back to the Open Mic Broadcast Network, the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince, and we have our guru, the man himself, Coach Van Pettaway, on the line with us. Coach, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Dr. Prince. This is another day that he's given us, and I'm happy, and I'm rejoicing in it.
Yes, sir. We're going to rejoice and be glad in the whole situation. And what a time to talk about rejoicing and being glad, Coach. Is football season sticks off this week, man. Starting off with this swac challenge. A lot of interesting pieces being brought to the table from both camps. Of course, with Dawson Odoms and Norfolk and what he's inherited and been trying to work through, and the most recent change of events from FAMU, sir.
Right, and FAMU is, that's a story by itself. But I'm looking forward to the season, and yes, they kick it off this Saturday, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great matchup.
I believe it's going to be a great matchup. I'm always pulling for HBCUs, but when it comes to that SWAC, I got to be honest, I'm a little more lenient toward the SWAC. And although they're bringing in some baggage, if you would, I hope that FAMU has enough in the tank to get off to a great start this season.
Right. I feel the same way. I think FAMU they have been one of the premier programs in the SWAC for the last 3 or 4 years. And then, of course, we all know that they took the whole carrot last year. And I'm looking forward to the new era and Rattler Nation, and we'll see what they got to offer this Saturday.
Yes, sir. Meanwhile, Dawson Odom, I'm a big fan of him. Love the guy, how he handles adverse situations when he was at Southern and overcame a lot of things. I don't know if he was fully sure what he was inheriting when he walked off into Norfolk. Some normal, behind-the-scenes struggles that you have. There's some unusual circumstances of behavior that I'm not going to even open up and go down that rabbit hole, sir. But he's got to be somewhat saying, man, is this what I signed up for?
Right. Well, I just feel like with him going home, I just think he's comfortable and he's just working his way through stuff. I think he knew some of the things that he was getting into, but I think a lot of times when you look at going home or close to home, you'll put up with some things that you normally wouldn't put up with.
I guess, man, but there was an old saying, sometimes you can't go home or it's not good to return home, and I hope he doesn't have buyer's remorse with everything that he's taking the charge on from Norfolk. But meanwhile, we still got some more football. We was teasing with some other guys there. This is the appetizer, but the real rubber meets the road next week. We'll dig a little deep into that next week. It's been a while since we've gotten together, Coach, and I know that you are technically our basketball expert. But when it goes to everything that we're talking about that you have seen in this Olympics, you got to be impressed. Don't count the quote-unquote old folks out, if you would. What LeBron and Curry was able to accomplish, you don't have words for it, man. It's unbelievable.
Right, and Durant, you got to put Durant in there too. So
no doubt.
The triple hit, the trio, they did their thing. They showed the young guys, say, just jump on our backs. We're gonna carry you through this thing, and that just the commitment that those guys have given to their craft, it really showed. You're looking at two of the guys that spend a lot of money on their bodies to make sure that their bodies are in shape and ready to perform at the maximum peak. And so they did an outstanding job. But not only did the basketball team show up and show out, you got to take your hat off to our women's gymnastics team. They did an outstanding job. I thought we had some great performances in track. And I was just overwhelmed by the Olympics. What I did is I watched everything that I could in the morning, so I didn't have to deal with the replays at night. But I was fascinated with the volleyball. I like water polo. I like it. There's just so many different aspects of the Olympics that will just take you. They just take your imagination away, man. Because we've got some phenomenal athletes in the United States, and
no doubt.
they showed that. They showed that by winning the most medals, and then of course I hated that they tied with China for the most gold medals. But you know, you got to put an asterisk by China. China got most of their medals in the pool. When I say the pool, diving. Diving. Most of them gold medals came doing diving. They put a lot of emphasis on it, and they send a lot of people to the Olympics just to dive, and that's how they get their points. So we may have to look at the formula that they're using so that we can come up on the diving portion of it. But I was real impressed with the Olympics, and I just hate that it's every 4 years because you have you see some great athletes from across the world.
No doubt about it. And it's ironic that you brought that up about the Olympics. And there were two medal trackings. You had total medal trackings and then gold medal trackings.
Right.
And it was ironic to me, of course, America did the thing with overall medal count, but the main one they were keeping track of was gold medal winning, right? And so it got me to think, and I did a show a couple of weeks ago, and I was doing the gold, silver, and bronze medals for football programs in the past 4 years on the track with the Olympics. And I had Pham with the gold, Jackson with the silver, and Purvey with the bronze due to how they finished the last 4 years. And I said all that to say, even though silver and gold was acknowledged, it wasn't really counted like that gold is, and which brought me to believe, can we totally be satisfied? I'm going back now to our conference now, with being happy, finish second or third.
Wow. Yeah, that's a big thing for the fans and for the alumni. As a coach, when you do the best that you can, you let the chips fall where they may. Because when you put your all into it, if your players give you everything they got and you finish in second, then you have to live with that. You have to be. A lot of times we as coaches, we know what our kids are capable of doing. And if they finish in second, if I start that year knowing that I really don't have enough to really get over the hump, I'm not going to be able to bring that crown home this year, then you got to, as long as those kids maximize their abilities and you get it from them, you got to be happy with it, Doc.
No, and that's the truth in that, and I'm okay with that. But at some point, even when you know you don't have enough in the tank to finish the finish line, you still need to improve on that, and you say, well, I knew what I had coming into this. Let me build on this to get better. But when you're constantly doing second and third, at some point, you have teams that have walked away from managers after winning championships. They say, hey, we appreciate you, but we got to go in a different direction. At some point, you got to get over being complacent.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That is absolutely true. That is absolutely true. Now, when you gave out your medals for football, I noticed that Alcorn State was nowhere around.
Right. I did that based on the past 4 seasons. Okay. Not the Blue Blood. And when you go back to the past 4 seasons, I just did it on the tracking of the Olympic time. That's how I based upon them. Now, when I went overall athletic programs, I gave the gold to Alabama State. I gave the silver to Jackson State, and then I still gave Prairie View the bronze. Okay, and I based that from whether it's 18, 14 sports that the programs have, and although Alabama State has struggled in what we call the big boy sports, football and basketball. They've been so consistent with everything across the gamut that they have a balanced approach. I know it's frustrating on the football side of things, but they've done a great job, I believe, from outside looking in, on distributing their wealth, if you will, when it comes to their athletic budgets.
Right. They've been solid, and I guess in keep it in line with what the way you scored them, that'll fall in line with the way the Commissioner's Cup has fallen. Yep.
Now I've had my druthers about that as well. I think there ought to be a couple of categories with the budgets and size of the sports available, but who am I, right? I'm just a guy with a talk show with an opinion every now and then. But I don't think you can judge them on the same. Just like there was a couple of smaller countries in the Olympics based on the resources that they had available. They knew that they couldn't be a national or a worldwide powerhouse, but they could. You celebrate a bronze or a silver or placing fourth even because of the resources available.
Correct. And then the categories would help the SWAC, because the other thing you look at, some programs have 18 sports, others have 14. So if you do it based on that, to me the 18 is going the programs that have the most sports, they're going to always be toward the top.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's just like height advantage. There's nothing I can really do about height advantage, in particular with your sport, basketball. But height advantage can also be a disadvantage when it comes to a football or even baseball as far as leverage is concerned. So I think they're just different categories that could and should be tweaked. But, once again, you have what you have, and that's why sports talk shows thrive the way they thrive, because everybody has an angle.
Oh, yeah.
So when we look at these angles, talking about with volleyball is just now getting kicked off, soccer has gotten kicked off, and everybody is focused on that football, which, of course, is primary. When you look at volleyball, and as you stated during the Olympics, this is a sport that has really grown within the last 10 years or so, Coach, and it's becoming truly exciting. And I know due to Title IX, I would love to see the SWAC one day get into men's volleyball, but I know that's not going to be happening anytime soon.
Right. I don't see that either. But the one, when you speak of volleyball, I was pulling for our women's volleyball team, but to see them get swept, I was a little disappointed in those results. I just didn't think that we showed up for the gold medal game, because there's no way they should have been swept. And I was. You got to give
credit to the other program too now.
Yeah. But see, Italy, they showed that they were the best team there, because if I'm not mistaken, they never lost a set. They never lost a set during the entire Olympics. But
and Coach, that ain't easy to do, man.
Yep. And then since we're on volleyball, they predicted that Jackson State would win would come in first in volleyball in the SWAC. I didn't think that they had enough coming back to garner that number one spot.
Well, not. Maybe on surface, but when you look at the staff, a lot of that, I'm thinking, is why they weighed in that direction.
Yeah, because of consistency.
Yeah, the consistency of a proven program. Not that the other programs are not proven, because Penny Lucas White is definitely proven. But when you look at what Jackson has been accomplishing, they're nothing to wink at neither. So it's going to be very, very interesting. We're going to jump back to this football, Coach. I think I already know who you're picking for this weekend's kickoff. And, I know you wanted to delay this, but, I am the defending champion. Yes. We got this. And give us the rule breakdown, how you want to coordinate this thing this season, sir. Give yourself a chance. Give yourself a chance.
Well, we'll pick the SWAC schedule, and then our tiebreaker will come from. I guess we'll come from the MEAC. We'll pick a game out of the MEAC as our tiebreaker.
Okay. Now the balancing act for that, because of the low participation from the MEAC, a lot of the games they'll play early on are going to be somewhat uneven.
Somewhat.
I'm trying to be modest about this thing. So those are
In week three, it'll balance off a little bit. But yeah, you're right. The first couple of weeks, it's tough. It's tough.
Tough is an understatement, but but which goes back. I'll touch on that in a little bit because of what the Group 5 people are doing. But so we'll still pick a MEAC's program. We'll pick the closest one that we can pick, or maybe we could do an over/under as far as points that they'll score instead of trying to pick who would win what game, because that's going to be a short order. That's going to be a very short order.
And then you just brought up something that's interesting. When you look at the dynamics of what the NC2A has put out there now about increasing the number of scholarships, your old sport, baseball, do you see in your crystal ball any of the SWAC institutions raising their level of scholarships in baseball?
If I were to look into my crystal ball, I could definitely see 2, and with the latest circumstances, I would have said 3, but I could see Bethune-Cookman and Alabama State possibly increasing scholarships. And I would have said FAMU, but due to the recent changes,
right,
because of what's going on there with the dynamics, they would hold off right now. My question was, with the increase, and I'm not mistaken, I think it's 30 now that they're talking about, which is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And the reason I say that, because we were having problems funding athletic scholarships at 11.7.
Right.
Okay, then you add on the NIL piece to it. We're dog chasing its tail, and it's going to be extremely difficult, yet more creative. But once again, I see the light at the end of the tunnel. We just have to go outside of the normal realm of thinking, and I'm gonna have to put this out there, Coach, especially when it comes to baseball and the HBCU factor. Due to the numbers available in modern baseball approach from the African American community, your SWAC, MEAC baseball teams are not going to look the way you've been traditionally accustomed to looking to them, meaning there won't be as many African Americans on those teams. There are going to be a lot of Latin and Hispanic, even white Americans that make up these rosters on these teams. And with that, you're going to have to approach how you recruit. And when I say that, I don't care what state you're in. For the most part, there are enough good quality baseball players from 1A up to 7A, if you have it, that you can put together some decent programs.
But I think you're going to have to make that commitment on putting the scholarship money out there, because I think that's the carrot. You got to give these kids an opportunity. Well, these parents really, you got to put that money out there so that those kids, their education is paid for. And I think you'll see more of these kids going off to school for baseball. But one of the things that I'm concerned with, we got programs in the SWAC that they aren't even at the 11.7 that we were given in the first place. So how are they going to go? How are they going to jump? I know they're not going to 30, but how are they going to even increase what they were doing?
Well, that's where you have to, once again, point on return of investment. When you look at it, and I know here we go with this taboo conversation again, I'm spending all this money in football when my return on investment is not as great as it could be in comparison to baseball. But then because of the revenue generating portion. And if the truth be told, even some of these football programs aren't generating the revenue that they could or should be generating, but they are generating more than what is from a typical baseball program.
Correct.
So with the way baseball is much different from when I played, where you were offered full scholarships. Now you got partial scholarships to go with the academia piece and whatever financial aid piece you got. So you have now the 11.7 scholarships at one point could have easily been converted to 22, 24 scholarships by breaking them up in halves and portions of scholarships. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the minimum you can offer a kid now is like 25%. So if you break that up right now, some of these programs are offering like 4.5 or 5 scholarships. So that's basically 10 scholarship players available that they can offer, half or a quarter scholarship to, which most of your money is going to go toward any type of good sign of pitching.
Right.
So now what happens when it comes to your pitching, where we get confused on the pitching piece, is we're looking at how hard an individual can throw versus how well an individual can pitch. Because I don't care if you're throwing 100 miles an hour, if you can't throw strikes, you're serving me no purpose. But if you're throwing 82, 88 miles an hour, but know how to throw strikes, knowing how to keep your ball where you're getting more ground balls than fly balls and have your defense work for you, that's where you can get it. And a counter to that is you're going to have good defensive teams. And a lot of people put so much emphasis on the home run and hits, which is an exciting part of the game. But you have 7 ball players, and 8 if you count the pitcher, that are in position to avoid that batter from getting on base with a hit. So why not emphasize the defensive part of the game? Because you're an old coach. Defense is what wins championships, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Because if I'm only giving up 1 run, okay, and I can't score any runs, then I can win. But if I'm in softball, slow pitch softball competition, where I'm scoring 15 runs, I can't score 15 runs every game. I got to get somebody out. So I think we need to focus a little bit more on the defensive part of the game.
Yep. I agree. So it's just going to be interesting to see how many schools take advantage of this, and that's what I'm waiting to see.
Well, speaking of taking advantage of, man, this basketball thing, I can't get around it. Have you heard any adjustments from the Bulldog camp on how they're going to approach and deal with this upcoming basketball season as far as broadcasting goes?
Yeah, well, they're still we're in scramble mode here at A&M because especially on the football side, because believe it or not, the 2 local guys that were helping A&M, they're now going over to the SWAC digital network. So, but we plan to do all of our home games like we've been in the past. So it won't be an issue with us. We were not on the road, so it won't affect us being on the road. But the home dates, you adding that extra date in there, it's not going to be a big issue.
Okay. Now, it might not be a big issue on the surface, but it will create somewhat of an issue when it comes to game day operation budgets.
Oh yeah. But I think with the Council of Presidents and the ADs agreeing to this format, they knew that it was going to be an extra expense. So in order for them to vote on it, I'm hoping they didn't vote in the blind without even considering or thinking about the added expense.
It keeps giving me further proof that I'm going to say majority of our presidents are in 1 or 3 categories. They are oblivious to the world of athletics, don't care about the world of athletics, or just not, I guess oblivious and naive would be the same thing, but they just don't understand it, the world of athletics. And I know It's almost like an oxymoron. Yes, we know that college and higher learning is about the academia piece. We understand that, no doubt about it. But there are so many lives that have been impacted through the world of athletics. A lot of people's lives have been changed through the academia piece because of their athletic abilities. And when you're allowing no more than 2% of your entire academia funding to go towards athletics, that's somewhat disrespectful.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But the other thing that I would look at, even for the presidents that don't put a lot into athletics or care about athletics, they got an athletic director, and that athletic director has to be the sounding board or the voice for that athletic department. They got to inform the president. Now, if we vote on this, it's going to cost us more money because we got to add this extra day in there. So surely somebody, either that or the ADs and the presidents are not in tune, or they don't communicate enough. But for them to make this move, there were a lot of presidents and a lot of ADs on board with this decision.
Coach, I'm going to say this, and I know what I'm about to say will be held against me, and I'm okay with it. Most of our ADs are nothing but yes men or women for these presidents. It's a dictatorship because, in theory, on paper, the athletic director should be the one as the CEO or recommending how and the direction they should be going athletically. But they have their directives from the president. I don't care what y'all say. This is what you got. Make it work. Okay? And for the most part, they're doing their best part. But when it comes to groundbreaking, rubber-meeting the road decision-making, these ADs do not have the voice that they need. And I don't care who says what and the political correct spin that they put on it. That's the absolute naked truth. They're handicapped. Because if you talk to some of these ADs off the record, their grumbles will be legitimate grumbles, but they'll never say anything. You know why? Because they got a nice little six-figure salary of comfort zone that they say, well, you know what? I'm just going to shut up and collect my check and let it ride out. And then when they leave the scene, notice how vocal they become. Mm-hmm. When there's no Western term, they call it yellow bellies.
Yep.
So it's just a dynamic, and it's kind of the mess that we gotten in with the TV deals. I know where Dr. McClellan is slowly trying to work through it, but how we got in this entanglement with ESPN is because of presidents not fully understanding, not allowing the ADs who do understand a bigger bargaining chip on getting a better deal. Because I don't care what anyone says, I think we should have much more revenue coming in from our deal with ESPN and what we're receiving.
And that's something that they're going to have to look at.
Yeah. They're going to have to, but hopefully they'll do it in our lifetime. Hopefully, and I'm not going to turn this into a Debbie Downer session, Coach, but it's just one of them deals. We can fake the funk for only so long. At some point we got to say, it is what it is, and we got to make the necessary adjustments. But meanwhile, we're going to get back to these picks, Coach. We got to get back to these picks.
Yeah, we got a big one here. You got the Florida A&M Rattlers versus Norfolk State, the MEAC SWAC Challenge.
Mm-hmm. And go ahead. You about to roll out
in Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
And if I had to pick, which I am going to do, I'm staying with the SWAC.
Oh, we're in agreement on that. We're in agreement on that.
Okay.
I guess next going to be the points. What you think the score going to be?
I'm going to go 28-14.
Close.
I think it's 28-14.
I got it 24-10.
24-10. Okay, not bad.
Yeah, 24-10, and I think that FAMU will be the last man standing to start this MEAC SWAC challenge. But the true test is going to be next week, and I hope you got your game hat on, Coach, because I'm coming hard for 2024, brother. I'm coming hard.
I got you. I mean, it was a flip of a coin for you to, ease past last year now. So,
but you know what? What's the brother name? Lyles?
Noah Lyles. Yeah.
Yeah. He won the fastest man by a torso.
Oh, fractions.
Yeah, but they're not going to look at all that in the history books, Coach. All they're going to look at that he won, right? And so if it's half a point, a tenth of a point, I win.
Yep.
It was close. I'm not saying it wasn't close now. I'm not saying that. I'm not denying that. But as Muhammad Ali would say, they said the champ is here.
Yep.
But no, it should be some fun to make these things go, and I look forward to it each time we get together. Man, you're a consummate joy, professional, and just a solid person to be around. I grow each time we interact, man, and I hope you get as much out of this as I do, sir.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a pleasure, and I look forward to it.
Well, with that being said, we get ready to get our popcorn ready for this weekend football kickoff, and I want to give you some closing thoughts and comments, Coach, as we get ready to wrap this week's segment up.
Well, we get ready to start off another year, and I pray that we have another successful year, and I want to continue to encourage you this year to keep doing what you're doing, because a lot of the things that come over these airways is very, very needed. And I just want to continue to encourage you to do what you're doing, and thank you for accepting your assignment.
Well, thank you for being a part of the assignment, sir. We couldn't get it done without quality folk like yourself, and we look forward to the continued growth and moving forward for 2024. He is the guru, Coach Van Pettaway. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Do reminding you guys that you can follow me on Twitter X at The Mike Prince Show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. And if you hadn't had a chance, you can check out our 24-hour streaming content on the website at obnradio.com. So until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.